The vast market promise of the nascent psychedelics industry is underscored by the companies playing niche roles in the expansion and rollout of treatments. With depression numbers skyrocketing, the World Health Organization has recognized depression as a leading cause of disability, with 264 million reported sufferers worldwide. Cybin is a cutting-edge psychedelic therapy company that is working on therapies for diseases like depression that in recent years have seen little progress in treatment. Doug, you've had a long career around the pharmaceutical and drug development industry. What's unique and exciting about the prospects for building psychedelics with Cybin?
You know, what's amazing is for the first time ever in psychiatric health, we've got an ability potentially to remove people's depressive symptoms or their addictive cravings almost overnight.
I think one of the most exciting things about Cybin is the roadmap you have for discovery of new molecules and the ability to secure some intellectual property and patents around the new molecules you're creating and improving on the existing molecules that are out there.
Patents are important in drug development. Drug development is expensive and it takes a long time. So if you can't protect the work, then it's impossible to raise the capital, the investment to get the work done. So at Cybin from the outset, we decided to look at the classic psychedelics like psilocybin and ask ourselves, how can we improve this? And one of the challenges with psilocybin is that it's very long acting. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get to peak effect. And then the treatment session might be 6 or 8 hours. And so for a patient to be in a clinical setting under supervision for that amount of time creates a lot of cost and resource issues around that. So we asked ourselves if we could shorten that duration, speed up the onset of action, which we have done with our psilocybin analog, and in turn generate new IP.
Looking from my own vantage point as an investor, I've seen the ups and downs in the cannabis industry where we had a lot of promotional hype and then a bust. In the crypto space, we've had a couple cycles of boom and bust. And even in psychedelics, we had a boom and bust already where there was just a whole bunch of promotional activity going on. How do you have Cybin differentiate itself and cut through all the noise of all this promotional activity?
We've seen this repeated cycle, this sort of Gartner cycle of hype around a lot of new tech. And there's a big rush in the beginning, and then things shake out and settle out, and you have the real companies left behind. And I think that's where we are now. There were about 60 public psychedelic companies about a year ago. Today, I think we're down to about a half a dozen companies doing real drug development.
From the standpoint of Cybin's business plan, where do you anticipate the first most interesting use cases to be for the therapeutics?
Well, we're starting with depression and anxiety disorders, and then likely substance abuse or tobacco use or alcohol use, one of those conditions. But we're studying right now major depressive disorders. I mean, we're doing a study in New Jersey and Atlanta, recruiting patients, so that's very exciting. We've gone from the bench and discovery to the clinic in about 18 months, which is super fast, really fast. And then we also have a program using DMT for anxiety disorders that's running in the Netherlands. So we're getting there. I think 2023 will be a really interesting year where we'll actually have human data to share with people.
There's a significant potential disruption to the traditional big pharmaceutical companies with a lot of the therapeutics you're developing. How do you think about your business model versus theirs and what sort of competitive threat you may ultimately become?
The way the pharmaceutical business works is that large companies typically feed off the innovation of small companies. So there are a lot of biotech startups in a lot of areas, emerging spaces like psychedelics, but also cell and gene therapy. And those small startups can often move faster like we have and be more nimble. And big pharma tends to sit back and wait. They watch the IP, they watch the data, and they can swoop in and make a transaction some ways down the line once the programs have been de-risked. So this is fairly typical. And I definitely expect big pharma to participate in some way. It's just too big an opportunity for them to miss.